I would support that effort. Aniana has been successful in what they've done as far as the way they've handled the, in essence, the out-of-district students. There could be similar things implemented there at Gardendale, and it's an issue that is very difficult, and I would work hand in hand with the citizens of both areas and just try to work out the best thing we could.
So I have a lot of friends and family in the Mount Olive community, and this is definitely a thing that's on their top 10 list of things they worry about, especially if they have children in the Jefferson County education system. And also there's some tax implications to that. Currently Gardendale is charging a 10 mil basically tax increase for the start to and sustain the school system. Mount Olive currently pays that same 10 mils to support their fire service. Feedback from Gardendale City Council and stuff is that it's just not financially feasible for both sides, and it would be irresponsible for both sides to have that annexation. I think Senator Beeson and the House delegation did a tremendous effort of trying to get this thing resolved. And this is where I think home rule would come in, to where it wouldn't have to be a state-based issue. It could really be solved between the Mount Olive residents, Gardendale residents, and me as a state senator or as a House member would be just facilitating the conversation at the state level.
The mayor of Gardendale has told me that it would cost $2.5 million to support the annexation of Mount Olive. The folks in Mount Olive only produce about $250,000 a year in revenues from their sales taxes and so forth. So it is financially not feasible to annex Mount Olive into Gardendale. There are a number of parents in Mount Olive, though, that would like to have their students go to the Gardendale schools. It seems to me that there is a compromise, that the schools annex those students in rather than having the city annex the city or the town in, and that those students be allowed to go to Gardendale schools as long as the parents who want them to go there will support that move with their taxes. Charge those parents an additional 10 mil tax that would go directly to the Gardendale school system to support those students going there. It's a problem that's dividing Mount Olive in half. There's a number of senior citizens that live in Mount Olive that don't want to be annexed in. There's a number of younger parents who want their children to go to the Gardendale schools, and I think there's a great compromise.
And this is definitely a hot button issue. I've knocked on several doors out there, talked to several people in the Mount Olive area and Gardendale area. And the money, like Jim said, the money is not there for the annexation. Financially, it doesn't make sense. So that is an issue that is bigger than me. I would support Gardendale doing that, but I just don't see physically, financially, how they can do that.
Well, it's fairly unique to me in a couple of ways. I grew up in Fultondale, played ball in Gardendale, Mount Olive, and all those areas, have many friends there, and I understood the dynamics of this issue before it really came to the full table. I spoke with Othel about it over a year ago, and my number one question was, what are you going to do about Mount Olive? Those are great families, those are great kids, those are kids you don't want to lose in your school, and he agreed with that. Apparently they've had a difficult time trying to find a resolution. I would support annexation with a referendum. If the people of Mount Olive as a group come together and decided they wanted to annex into Gardendale, a referendum is the way to do it. That allows the voice of the people. We do annexations in Pinson every week. I understand the financial obligations there. If you annex in folks in Mount Olive into Gardendale, Gardendale's got to pay 6 years of fire dues to the fire district. Right now, the way they do that is the people that are being annexed in have to pay the fire dues. That's not necessarily something we do in Pinson, but those are ways they've tried to do it in Gardendale.
One thing that I've learned through my talks with people in the communities of District 17s is everyone is very proud of their community, and I think we have to respect the autonomy of the community. And I think that Mount Olive, absolutely, what you're saying makes sense. Mount Olive is a very fine community, as is Gardendale. All of them have schools that are responsible to the people. I think to suggest that one school system is better than another might not be the right analysis. I think Gardendale has developed a nice school system. I actually went to the first meeting when they were convening the school system, and I was very impressed with the board and some of their plans. But to suggest that somehow Mount Olive has to be in that district and that their children will not get a good education does not seem like a logical step to go. I think Mount Olive people want their schools to be autonomous with them, and I
I
respect.
might just add one thing that hasn't been said. This is not just a Mount Olive Gardendale issue, because I think the folks at Mortimer Jordan Corner are also concerned, because those children that are now, if they don't go to Gardendale, they're going to be those other schools. And you have 2 new schools built, and adding those extra students to those systems is going to create an onset of problems. But what I've done since this came up is I've sat down with Stan Hoagland, which is the council president out there, and I think he's probably been the most involved member of the city council on this issue of trying to figure out a solution. And one very specific thing, and I view this as the role of the next senator, is you've got to be the facilitator of getting all these people at the table. The state school board, the attorneys for Gardendale City, the new Gardendale City School Board, get them at the table. Right now, Jefferson County and Gardendale City are talking about the separation agreement. How does Gardendale City take ownership of this real property? I think this compromise that everybody's alluding to has got to be worked out at the same time as the separation agreement.